So welcome to Lesson 1D. During the in-class activity 1D, you'll need to be able to read and draw conclusions from voting results presented in a preference table. Make sure you have printed the worksheet for this 1D, and let's get started. Analyzing a preference schedule. Another word to add to where you're storing your vocabulary. In some elections with more than one candidate, voters are allowed to cast ballots ranking all candidates in the election. This information can be stored in a preference schedule. Again, add these to your vocabulary lists, however you're choosing to document them. The rows in a preference schedule represent the ranking order of the candidates. And the first row indicates the number of voters who ranked the candidates in the order shown in the rows below. Do hit pause and complete question 1 by yourself, and then come back to view the video. Question 1, suppose you're on a committee to hire a candidate for a position at your business. There are 3 candidates for the position, A, B, and C, Amy, Beth, and Carla. Everyone on the committee ranked their choices in the order of preference on a ballot. The preference schedule is given below. Before we even start part A, get oriented to what's going on in this chart, in this schedule. First, second, third choice, voters, 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 and then ranking. This way, this way, this way. It starts by asking us how many people are even on the committee. Well, if we had 4 voters, 2 voters, and 6 voters, 4 plus 2 plus 6, that looks weird, is 12. Put a good unit with it, and we have 12 voters, or 12 people, who are on this committee. Part B, how many first choice votes did Amy receive? And while we're looking here, it's always good to look at your questions while you're there. First choice for Beth and first choice for Carla. So looking at Amy, we'll go with a green. So Amy, up here, Amy got 4 first place votes, and then Amy got 2. So Amy got 6 first place votes. Beth got 6 first place votes, and Carla got no first place votes. Part E, which I don't have on the screen, I'm just going to read it from the paper, says how many first choice votes are needed for the majority of the committee to prefer one candidate. You have to go back to what majority means, and if there are 12 voters, our 12 cut in half would be 6 voters. That's half. Majority means we're going to need 7 voters. If we need 7 votes, no one has a majority at this point. It didn't ask that, but it just said, well, it did say, so how many are going to be needed for a majority? 7, and right now no one has that. If you have not done question 2 already, pause the video, go do question 2, and then come back. This table is asking for us to fill in how many votes each candidate received. We can start here that Amy got 6 first place, Beth got 6, and Carla got none. Now we need to go work on second and third. I'm going to go back to the preference schedule in question 1. We have the first choice numbers. Now let's work on the second choice numbers. So right here for second choice, we've got Amy, Beth, and Carla. And we're looking at second choice. Carla has 4. We have 2 voters for Beth. And Carla got 6 more. So for second place, we need to note that we have 0 for Amy, 2 for Beth, and 10 for Carla. Let's go put that on our other table. So putting the numbers that we just got on our table, we have that Amy had none, Beth had 2, and Carla had 10 second place votes. Let's go back to the preference schedule and finish up for third place votes. So looking at the chart, and I'm still in the same color. Looking at the chart, we're going for third place. And so in third place, we have Amy, Beth, and Carla. And Beth has 4, Carla has 2, and Amy has 6. So let's go transfer our 642 over to the chart. So our 642, that was 6 for Amy, and I was going to use a different color. That was 6 for Amy, 4 for Beth, and 2 for Carla. We have completed question 2. Go read the next part, which says practice, and go ahead and complete question 3 before watching the video or continuing with the video. So we finished this worksheet looking at question 3, but first there is information about in-class activity 1D, where we're going to use calculations from a preference schedule. The calculations are going to involve various, let's get some number going here, products and sums. We're going to practice these calculations. In the problems, be careful to follow the correct order of operations. Particularly when you have a string of computations, we're supposed to do multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And many of you may have remembered that you may have called it PEMDAS or Aunt Sally, but you need to know how to operate it correctly. And the first you would do are parentheses, something that really has something to do in a parenthesis. And then you would do exponents, and then we'd get down to if you have multiply or divide, you're going to go left to right. And then the same thing, your last step would be add or subtract, and that would be left to right also. In the back of your 1332 My Math Lab in-class student packet, you're going to have another resource called Order of Operations. I encourage you, if you're a little shaky or just want some more reinforcement on Order of Operations, to go read through that. Question number 3 says evaluate. Right in the middle, there are 4 letters that say value. Evaluate the following expressions. So starting with number 1, we have some multiplication going on, and that must happen first. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and work on 1. And I'm going to need to multiply first, which is added to the next multiplication, which is added to the last one. So we have completed our multiplication or division left to right, and we're now about to go do our adding and subtracting next. So this was done, and now we're doing adding or subtracting. So we have 22 plus 2 more, we have 24. Now let's do the next one. Same kind of setup. If there are multiplication symbols, we must take care of those first. So we have a 6 plus a 14 plus a 1. In other words, I have 20 plus 1, or 21, and we'll just finish up here with the last one. Again, a lot of multiplication going on left to right. I have a 15 plus a 10 plus a nothing, 0, and I have a 25. We're going to continue this process down on part B, and I'm going to erase to get a new screen. And if you haven't done part B by yourself already, go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase the screen and be right back. To finish up this lesson, we're going to work on these using order of operations. If I have information that needs to be multiplied, I must do that before adding. I have a 15, 4, and a 13. These two are 28 and 4 more. Looks like we got us a 32. You may want to put parentheses, play with it, make it work for you, just be accurate. So I've got 6 plus 20 plus 8. So 28 and 6 is going to be a 34. And then we'll finish up the last one. And it looks like we got a 3 plus an 18 plus a 10. 28 on the back side. Looks like we've got us a 31. This concludes lesson 1D. Go look at your calendar to see if this is all for this week. And that's all.